for tuning in. I wanted to remind you of our Road to 1,000 Subscribers giveaway that we have going on our YouTube channel. If you subscribe and have a public profile, you'll be entered to win a free RX Smart Gear original jump rope. You'll get to pick the pattern of the handles, the color and weight of the cable, and you'll be getting one of the best-selling, best-performing jump ropes out there. Every time we hit a new century mark with the number of subscribers to our channel, we'll randomly select a new winner. And our friend Dave Newman is going to throw in a little something extra for each winner. So a special thanks to our sponsor, RX Smart Gear, to Dave Newman for being such a great partner, and to you for being a loyal listener. Good luck, and I hope you are our next winner.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I wanted to talk to you about our new sponsor, Element 26. They are an innovative company producing lots of products around the CrossFit, strongman, powerlifting space. They have weightlifting belts, they have knee sleeves, they have thumb tape. They have these cool little straps that go around the bars when you're trying to attach a bar to the rig and maybe using it for low bar work, like pull-ups for little kids, or some modifications for like bar muscle ups when you're trying to teach someone to do them. And you know how you wrap those rubber bands around the rig and the J hook to kind of keep everything straight? Well, they've made straps for that. And they're straps kind of like the straps you use for rings. They have a really secure system on it, and you can wrap around the bar and keep that nice and secure. I love their innovation. Their product development team is top notch, and they're just coming up with really different ideas for our space. So check them out at element26.co. That's element26.co. And tell them Kat sent you.
So for anybody living under a rock, we are talking to the one, the only Anikha Greer. One of our favorite youngsters in the field of elite athletes for CrossFit. And yeah, it's been a minute. So I think we talked to you right before semifinals back in, call it May of 2021, sorry. And while I don't like to live in the past, I do want to touch a little bit on your experience in semis, what happened after that, last chance qualifiers, all that good stuff. So let's briefly just kind of get a recap from you. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah, for sure. It feels so long ago now, but at the same time, it doesn't feel that long ago. I was talking to my coach just the other day, and he was like, yeah, that was like 6 months ago. I was like, no, it wasn't. That's a lie. But yeah, I guess it was, because that would have been last June, because Atlas was the last semifinal. Yeah, came sixth, a couple seconds away from my goal, which was top 5, which I think we had talked about before going into that competition. So yeah, no, it was a great, like, I couldn't have been happier with how everything went. There was a few surprises, like the snatch workout, which I thought should have been one of my best, considering strength in general is one of my strengths. And it actually ended up being my worst finish. So that was kind of a shock, and it gave us a new weakness though. So now it's not just entirely rowing and burpees. We got a little more diversity in there now. But
was that question for you on that workout? Was that a deficiency in you, or was that the field just sort of was really good?
A little bit of both, I think. Okay. With different people in that field, I could have done better, but at the same time, I shouldn't really have to have that contingency. But sure. But yeah, no, it definitely some lacking on me too, just confident, because it was that like decreased reps. It wasn't decreased reps. It was just increasing in weight. So it was like 10 at 95, and then 125, 145, and then max effort at 165. And where I really noticed my, just because they had that cool YouTube where they put everybody up next to each other, where I really noticed my weakness compared to other people was the 145s. I ended up having to squat snatch them. I couldn't power snatch all 10 to keep them quick, whereas everybody else could keep powering them. And so I lost a lot of energy and a lot of time there. And then even just confidence under 165. My 1RM might be the same as them, but kind of like cycling 165 at a quick pace I wasn't quite as confident as some of them. Some of the bigger girls, like Sydney, hit like 20 power snatches at 165. 165 is my 1RM power snatch, so that was wild.
Wow.
Yeah, so no, but then even more than that one, the ring muscle up double under workout, I thought should have been really good for me, because it was a lot of ring muscle ups. Those are my best movement, but the double unders hurt me again and slowed me down. So that one I didn't do as well as I would have liked to. But other than that, every other workout, the workouts that I thought I would have done poorly on, the barbell cycling burpee the big long row workout with the legless rope climbs, like exceeded my expectations hugely, like couldn't have been happier. So overall, like I couldn't have been happier with my effort, like my mindset, everything I could have done, I did over that weekend, except for doing an extra clean and jerk on Gretel. Other than that, we did everything we could. So yeah, semis it was great. It was disappointing, like seeing I went from like second to fourth to sixth on the last day, right? So it would have been a really cool comp to do in person, because that's a completely different kind of playing field, especially just even having that points race in person. That would have been crazy just to watch, because we had the tightest points of any semifinal. Tommy Marquez put up a really good article about it on Morning Chalk Up, just about how close that race was. Like it was closer than any other, I don't know if it was any other CrossFit competition, but it was one of the closest he'd seen in years. So that would have been super cool to see in person. But yeah, semis was good. And then last chance came around, and it took me a little while to get excited for last chance, because I felt like my season had been like so long already. Just being online, I didn't have any of the excitement of being in person. It was kind of like quarters online, semis online, disappointment of not coming fifth, like just missing it. And then it was like another online competition, and you're only going to take 2 people. Like it was tough for me to kind of get in the mindset to compete again. But yeah, I think it was maybe 2 days before I finally kind of flipped the switch and was like, all right, game time, let's go. But it took me a lot longer than it normally does, truthfully. And yeah, last chance could not have made worse workouts for me, unfortunately. As much as I wish that like didn't have to be a case, I wish I didn't have good workouts, and we were still working towards that. I do, and they couldn't have made worse ones. So it was a little disheartening when they announced them. Seeing 100 burpees to a target for time just crushed my soul as soon as I read it. That's like my worst movement, and it's just that, right? There's no saving you there. So that, and then rowing, and then a max deadlift, and then more double unders. I was like, oh. But I might have been prouder of the last chance than I was semis, just mentally. Just because I had like so little internal motivation to do it, knowing they were only taking 2, knowing I was going to be competing against people who were just as fit as me, who don't have those weaknesses. Whereas I know going in, like I'm not 5'7", and I'm not a fantastic rower compared to like Emma Tall. Like when I looked at the women who I was competing against, they were big, strong. Like Emma Tall is, I know she's great at deadlifts. I know she's great at rowing, like that kind of thing. I know Christy Aramo was great at burpees. So it was tough for me to kind of think that I was equal to them and that I had a chance. But the first workout, the row and the dumbbell snatch, like I pulled numbers on the rower I never thought I was going to pull in a workout. Like I held like 12,000 calories per hour the whole time. And like for me, that's huge. So I couldn't have been like happier. Was so stoked with that. The gym was so awesome. I have a video on my Instagram of them counting my last reps of the dumbbell snatches, but they get too excited and they start counting too fast, and they're like 3 reps ahead of me, and I'm getting confused. It was really funny. But no, it was really cute. So the gym was like so awesome for me, and they had such a good atmosphere for me to do that in. Yeah, and then the deadlift, I hit 350 for a triple. Like I thought that was going to be huge, and it came 12th. Like that's just a testament to how strong the field was. Like if I'm looking at what the 1RM deadlifts were from the games in like 2018, like when they had the total, they were like, there was a small percentage that were over 400, and like 350 for a dead stock triple, like that wouldn't have been that bad in the field of the game. So that's just like, it was just crazy how many super strong women we had in the last chance in that field. And then, so that one, again, couldn't have been happier. I couldn't have pulled any more off the floor. That was all I could have done. It was really fun. And then the burpees. So the way the scores came out after, there's only 4 workouts, which again is kind of tough because there's not much room for any errors. And after the first 2 workouts, we put our scores in, and then we got kind of our first placing. After the second 2, we got our second one. And after the first 2 workouts came in, the scores went up earlier than I thought. I thought they were going to be up at like 5, and they were up at 4. So anyways, I'm about to do the 100 burpees for time. Already dreading it, because I know I've worked a lot on my burpees, but I also know they still are not in the top 1% of just 100 burpees for time. It was just a fact. But I was excited to see like how far I'd come with them. And the target was a super tough added element, like just the way it was the up against the wall. That was super tough. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure I'm in the bathroom and I'm checking my phone and somebody said, "Did you see the leaderboards up?" And I was like, "No." So obviously I check it and I'm like looking and I don't see my name. And I'm like, "Oh my God, did my scores not go up? Like what happened?" And I start scrolling and I'm like 18th, like I'm like way down at the bottom. And that was just like my heart just like dropped, right? Because that was when I kind of knew like you're not going to the games this year. And it wasn't even like I expected to be in the top. I knew like internally that they weren't my best movements, but it's like it doesn't really set in until you see your name really low. And it was tough. So I remember kind of looking at that. I came out and I looked at Brett and I was like, "I'm an 18th." And he's like, "No, you're not." "I am." He didn't believe me. He's like, "No, you're not." "What?" And he's normally super chill, super level. But yeah, it was a big surprise. We didn't expect the numbers. We didn't expect those numbers like ahead of me, what they put up. It was incredibly impressive. But yeah, it was definitely a shock. So for me to then kind of compartmentalize that and go, let's go crush 100 burpees. And I did, and like I didn't let it affect me, and I still pushed as hard as I could. Like that was huge for me and Brett, like both, just to kind of see that mental growth. Seeing as he's known me since I was like 12, and I used to be a mental train wreck who had like absolutely no capacity to do anything like that, right? So we were both really, really proud of that. And it wasn't a great finish for me. It was again bottom of the pack. And if I were to have redone it, could I have shaved off 15 seconds and moved up like, I don't know, 5-10 spots? Potentially. But for me, it wasn't worth it to like right over what a great mental win that was. So we left that workout, didn't redo it. Last workout was like rope climbs and cleans and double unders, and it was fun, and I was really happy with my effort. But again, double unders still need work, and they hurt my ribs, and I was just kind of, it was all I could do with what I had in that moment. So I was happy with it. But at the end of the day, it was just kind of like I knew I wasn't gonna go. So that was, last chance was tough for sure. And I was definitely ready for an off season once that finished up.
Yeah. So what does that off season look like for you at that point in time? Presumably you tuned into the games, right? I mean, you're a fan. Did you?
Not overly. I
Okay.
didn't watch a ton. I don't even really, I knew what some of the events were, but like I wouldn't even be able to tell you. I knew there was a wall walk thruster, a run. The swim was cool because of the fins. Swimming with fins is so fun. But so I knew some things, but I didn't actually, I don't think I watched any of it live.
Okay.
There was a part of me that was just kind of like, I need a break from CrossFit for right now. It was a hard year training alone. Like my training was really hard. It always is. But there was definitely a few months, even like my mental health is also something that I don't talk about a lot, but is a huge part of my life. And I think it had been really bad through the winter, and it was finally just kind of like, I need a break. So I think I just kind of took time for like myself over the summer, and it was really, really beneficial.
Awesome. So highlights from your summer then. What kind of fun things did you do? You did some hiking, I thought. I saw some Instagram pictures.
BC, did some hiking there. That was really awesome. So one of the girls actually who competed at Atlas, Freya Moosberger, she came 12th, crazy fit, crazy strong. She's 20. She just turned 20. So she's also a super young Canadian. We get along super well. Like she's just like another little version of me. We joke that she's like the Brent Fikowski to my Pat Milner. She's really analytical, and she likes numbers, and she likes to know all this stuff. And I'm just kind of like, whatever happens, happens. So we kind of complement each other really well. So she came down to PEI for a visit. We got to train together at the end of the summer, right when I was kind of getting back into things, and that was awesome. So I'm hoping I can see her again before this winter again soon. So that was a big highlight for sure, was getting to actually train with her, as opposed to being alone all the time. Having another elite athlete was really fun.
Sure. You mentioned in an Instagram post recently too that you may have not given enough credit to Brett for, everything he's done for you. So we want to give you an opportunity now to sort of show your gratitude and explain to everybody sort of what that relationship is like and what it means for you, because he flies under the radar. Both of you guys fly under the radar a lot. And I have a feeling that people are going to be very disappointed when they see these names coming up and they haven't been paying attention. So
Mhm.
let's give them something to
Yeah, we
sink their
actually
teeth into.
joke about that a little bit, just about how much he flies under the radar and stuff. I think he likes it a little bit, definitely. But no, Brett owns my affiliate, CrossFit 72, and with Mike Ives, another owner. But he coached my very first CrossFit teens class when I was 12. And I remember he always likes to tease me because I was always the annoying little 12-year-old that would ask him a bunch of questions like, how do you do a muscle up? I bet I can do a rope climb faster than you. Like I was just always asking him something and he was just like, who is this kid and why won't you leave me alone? But yeah, no, he took me under his wing when I was like 14, when I was old enough to do the open, and he's like guided me ever since. He's programmed almost every workout I've ever done.
Wow.
He's a huge part of my life. He's family at this point. Like he's like my older brother, my like uncle. Like he's a huge part of my life. He's always there. It's hard to describe our relationship because he's more than a coach. It's definitely evolved like as I've gotten older. And yeah, no, I don't know where I'd be without Brett. I definitely wouldn't be as fit as I am. And I don't know if I would be as good as a person or as well-rounded or as mentally stable as I am without Brett. Yeah, no, he's awesome. And I can't wait for the world to know what an awesome coach he is, except I don't want to share him. So don't get too busy.
So you're not wanting him to like open up a big camp and invite 50 people to come work out with you and build his empire just yet?
Oh, 100% I would. I just know he's selective. I know he's selective with who he wants to coach because I mean, he's had opportunities to coach other people before, but he's really good at knowing his worth and knowing what he wants to put his energy into. And I find myself really grateful that he thinks I'm worth putting his energy into. That's amazing. But no, 100%. He wants me to go train with people all the time. He wishes there was more people for me to train with, but I was joking a bit. But no, I'm just like, I need all the press energy. I'm his full-time job.
Yeah. If you did have sort of unlimited budget and time, where are some of the places that you'd like to go and pop in for, a weekend?
Yeah, I'm actually right now I've been planning a lot of traveling for this upcoming season. So I actually will have the opportunity this winter to go train with people, which I'm so excited about. A lot of it for me has just been COVID. Like as soon as I got to the point where I was like fit enough to have the opportunities to go train with people, COVID hit, right? Like right after I finished being a teen. So I haven't been able to leave my province even. But yeah, no, so I'm going to visit Deb, my agent from Lab Management in New York in December. So her gym, like the Move Fast, Lift Heavy headquarters, has Chris Harris and a few other athletes down there. I think she's going to bring in. And early December, basically as soon as my class is finished, I'm going to fly out there for a week and kind of hang out and train and meet them, which would be really awesome. And then I got an invite to Wodapalooza, which was a big surprise because I did not meet any of the criteria for invites. I did not think. I'm still waiting.
They just know.
Invite, but they must. I was really flattered, but it also was making me a little stressed because I haven't gotten the official invite yet. They've just been like telling me on Instagram. So I'm like, I didn't do the qualifier. Are you guys sure? But yeah, they're sure. I know, I'm just being silly. But but yeah, so I was really excited about that because that'll be my first like in-person live elite competition. Everything else has just been teens, like even semis, like didn't even get to do that in person, right? So it doesn't even feel like I'm an individual yet. So I'm so excited for that.
And you didn't do Pitt. Did you do the Pitt Fitness Ranch the first year? Yeah. So the last thing you did was, gosh, what was it? It was Wodapalooza as a teen.
As a teen 2 years ago, and it was in
2020.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the last and then age group qualifier, but that was the last in-person competition I did. Actually, I did a partner comp here in Moncton in New Brunswick for fun in August, and that was super fun. But if we're going on like individual like big competitions, yeah, Wodapalooza was the last one I did. But before Wodapalooza this year, Cooper, I don't know if he owns that or he's one of the other agents for Lab Management.
Cooper Marsh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's been trying to get me down to Vegas for a while. And I'm always like, that's a big trip. That's a 3-hour time difference, maybe 4 from PEI. And especially just with like classes and travel restrictions and stuff. but we're trying to organize. He's got to clear some things with Justin Kotler. But before Miami, I'm thinking we're kind of trying to plan for me to come for a week and a little bit, train there, and then go to Miami a week early, so I have time to train there as well. So January and December is looking packed for training and competing, and I am so excited.
Oh, that's awesome. You'll have a blast with Justin and his crew. They're just,
Yeah.
they're top notch, and we love them.
Mhm.
Would love to see you there.
Yeah,
To hang out, and they have a lot of people doing a lot of fun stuff. And
Mhm.
I think they're actually getting a new location too. So they might even
Oh, are
be,
they?
they might, like, they're getting their own place.
Oh, that's awesome.
So maybe the timing will be right too. You'll be right in there with the
Yeah.
new private stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What about, gosh, I just lost my train of thought. So travel to Vegas potentially. Oh, school. You were saying school's almost over. What's your status with that? Are you at university now?
Yeah, I'm in my dad's office. He's a prof at my university, but yes, yeah, I'm at University of Prince Edward Island. I'm technically full time. I'm taking 3 classes. They are all in person right now, which is tough, but luckily I kind of built my schedule around training, so it doesn't really affect my training too much. Like most of my busy days, I have 2 classes in one day, are on my rest days. And then Fridays I have no classes. The other 2 days I just have either one in the morning or one at like 6 p.m. So I have the rest of the day to train. So it's really not too bad. The work outside of class is just enough to kind of keep my brain going. I don't mind it at all. I'm an English major, so just a lot of paper writing. I don't have to study, but I enjoy writing papers. It's not too much extra work. The only thing I've been noticing is that when it gets busy, I lose time for my recovery stuff, which is really important just to kind of keep my body with the amount of training I do. I'm prone to just like little tweaks. And I've been noticing I've been having a few more little tweaks lately just because we had midterms. So I had more papers to write. So that meant just at home, more time just typing, right? So for me, I need to just something I've just kind of realized in the past couple of weeks is like I need to be more mindful of maybe trying to multitask, like I don't know, stick some power dots on my legs while I type or something like that, just to kind of keep that going, because I have noticed I've been a little more achy, a little stiffer, joints have been hurting a bit more because I don't have time to do that recovery stuff. And that also has made me, for next semester, I'm switching to completely online. So I've switched my course load so that everything will be online, which should just give me more flexibility time-wise and should be a little more liberal that way. So I'm looking for, and that way I don't have to miss in-person classes when I travel and whatnot. So it'll probably stay after this year. If UPEI doesn't offer online classes anymore, I will probably transfer to just an online university, because I don't want to stop going to school, but I'm also not going to let it affect my career.
Yeah, because you're how old? Are you 19 or 20?
I'm not 19 until June. I'm 18.
Oh, wow, that's right.
I know,
You've got the weird birthday where you were like only eligible for 1 year.
Yeah, people always think I'm way older than Mal or Emma. I'm the same age as them, just by a couple months. I'm a little older. Yeah.
Okay. Things you're working on, weaknesses, without giving away too much. Like,
yeah.
It sounds like your headspace is there. I mean, that's sort of a big hurdle for a lot of athletes, especially at a young age. And typically we see that strength is sort of a weakness for a lot of folks, but there's a handful of you guys that are super strong.
Yeah, it's funny, as we've spent so much time building up my aerobic base, because that was the whole goal last year, right? I remember when we had talked like
you're gonna row
2
the whole
years
time.
ago now. Yeah,
row
it was
burpees.
just like, row burpees, run for hours. That's just all we did. And it definitely paid off this year. And it was semis where I kind of realized like it's not your aerobic base that's holding you back anymore. It's just small little things that are kind of getting in the way. Like for me, like that ring muscle up lunge double under workout. Great at ring muscle ups. Like it was 30, 20, 10, like a 60 ring muscle ups. Like that is fine for me. But the double unders, the 300, 200, 100, like tired me so much and hurt my ribs so much that it was affecting my ability to do other things. So it's like my ring muscle ups, I was taking too long between sets, not because I'm not good at ring muscle ups, but because the double unders had hindered my ability. I couldn't recover doing double unders. I was getting taxed. So that's something we're working on, is being able to recover doing double unders. Because I can do big sets, but I can't do big sets, finish, set my rope down and be like ready to go. My ribs hurt. Like, I mean, that's just also dealing with my costochondritis. and my now discovered asthma.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so just little things like that. So double unders are a big one right now. Just efficiency. We've been doing a lot of just like straight double under workouts, just trying to like be able to relax, to be able to do double unders and then move on to something right away, that kind of thing. Burpees always, just straight burpee speed mainly. Running always. We always start the day with that one big long cardio. We're just always going to do that just to keep that going too. But that part feels good. We've been doing a lot of, there's actually some strength now that I do need to work on, snatching in particular. My like mid-range strength, that like barbell cycling strength. We've been doing a lot of that. So a lot of pulling, a lot of that stuff. So a little more diverse than it has been in past years. And so far I've been like really enjoying it. It's a nice breath of fresh air.
Does your nutrition change in terms of like off season, on season? Do you follow a program, or do any of the people?
Yeah, so I've been with M2 since I was 14, maybe 15.
Okay.
So I've been with them for years. And over the summer, I didn't track at all. I was just, it's not even like I ate unhealthily. I just didn't track. A lot of the times I was probably eating the same, definitely not the same amount. I couldn't make myself eat that much, but the same foods. I just wouldn't log it anywhere again. I just needed that break mentally. And then I only really started getting back into it recently because I started tracking, and then I remember I had my personal life got a little hectic for a while, and I was just dealing with a lot of things, a lot of change outside of CrossFit, and I had to take another step back and make sure that I was doing okay, and that was one of the things that I kind of took a break from. So then I kind of stopped tracking for a bit then too, because I just lost my appetite completely. Then I came back a little bit, started a new medication. It made my appetite fall off. So my nutrition has been a little bit shaky over the past little bit, truthfully. So I lost my appetite, and so I was trying to get that back. But now we finally I've settled, my body's kind of settled into that medication. I've got my appetite back. We're eating like normal, we're tracking again. So now we're kind of back into the flow of things.
Nice.
That's good. You talk about, stuff outside of CrossFit. I mean, I'm a mom to a 18-year-old and a 16-year-old. And I know we sort of, as fans of the sport, take for granted the fact that you're not just this robot that goes to the gym and then performs for us. And, we get to clap and marvel at how strong you are or how fast you are. And, I remember being a teenage girl, like there's a lot of crap that happens that, is tough to deal with. And you've got relationships and with romantic relationships and friendships, and girls can be mean, and guys can be crazy, and vice versa. It's just I can imagine that it's a lot to deal with, on top of you've got this burgeoning professional career that you're trying to grow with sponsors, and I can't imagine like how much of that weighs on you in terms of like letting people down and feeling like responsible for performing a certain way.
Yeah, it's luckily the people in my life are so supportive of like everything I do. I don't have that fear. I used to. I remember being younger and having a lot of pressure from coaches. Never my family, never my friends, but and I used to always have that fear just with super unhealthy coaches when I was younger. But now I feel like I'm surrounded by such a healthy environment. Like I never have that fear of letting them down. I know that, especially having 2 psychologists for parents, they're super, like they're great to talk to. Like they're obviously, but they're the best parents I could ever ask for. So they're never like, it's always me first. They couldn't care less about my CrossFit. They support it entirely, and they do anything for my career to be a success, but it's always me as a person first, and not even my parents. It's Brett too, my coach. It's always me as a person first over everything. So, and I'm working on having that be for myself too. That's something I'm trying to work on right now, is putting myself as a person first in some situations, because I'm not always very good at that. As I kind of learned over the past couple months. Yeah, so I don't feel any pressure from other people. It's almost more pressure from myself. I need to learn to put myself first sometimes.
Yeah, that's important for well-being and things. Let's switch gears just a little bit and have some fun. So the Rogue Invitational is this weekend. Are you plugged in whatsoever? Don't pretend like you're not, a little bit, kind of.
I
Do you
have
have-
a general idea of who's going. I know Emma's
Okay.
going because I was talking to her.
Okay.
I wasn't, because it's so funny. My weekends are like my busiest training days because I have the gym to myself. I don't have to worry about classes. I don't have to worry about like gym classes. It's just like full training go time. I get to go up, like wake up, go to the gym, just be, my weekends are my favorite because I'm just a full-time athlete then. So it's funny. So I don't even like, when things are on during the weekend, I never see them because I never have time. But I will probably, I'm definitely going to keep up to date with the leaderboard. I heard the workouts got announced. I didn't look at what they were, but I am a little curious because that's definitely a competition I'd like to do in the future. I was sad they didn't have qualifiers because I 100% would have done them if they did. But yeah, I have a couple of close friends like Caroline Freivost is going, the Canadian, and Emma's going, and I'm super keen to see how they're going to do.
How about in the male field? Do you have any friends or acquaintances or
No, I have no, I actually
favorites?
don't know who's going for the men.
So Patty Vellner's going. So
Yes, yeah,
I assume
right.
you'll be rooting for him.
Yeah, we love Patty Valley.
That's so funny. He's a cutie.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you celebrate Halloween and PEI?
Yeah, yeah.
What's happening then Sunday night?
I think, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I think a lot of my friends are on the UPEI soccer team. So I know they have a big thing. So I'm gonna probably go dress up with them and maybe just eat some food.
As
Supergirl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, I already got half the costume. I'm blonde and jacked, so I just need a skirt and a logo.
there you go.
I love it.
You're
Charlie,
cheating, is what you're saying.
Yes. I didn't even buy the skirt. I borrowed it from someone.
Right.
That's funny. That's funny. Charlie, what will you be doing Halloween?
Probably walking in the cold
Chaperoning
and eating people's
small children?
candies.
Eating
Yes.
people's candy. Okay. Will you get dressed up?
No,
Why?
No mask. No. You'll be bundled.
I'll be
Oh,
holding everyone's candy and probably eating it.
All I know is I've gotten 1 million Amazon packages in the last week for my daughter for pieces of her costume. I don't even know what she's going to be,
you
but
don't
there's
even know
like
what she's gonna be.
there's like some sunglasses that look like have blinds going across them. There's like a gold hat, a big chain with like a money sign. I have no
Is she
idea.
going
I don't.
Snoop Dogg?
I'm afraid to ask at this point. And she has to work. So like she's going late night out with her
Oh,
friends to do
no.
something. And we'll have a fire pit going in our driveway and we'll give out candy to the neighborhood kids like
Yeah,
as they come down.
Where we live, we don't get trick-or-treaters. So I've
Oh,
never
really?
handed out candy. No, I live in the middle of nowhere down a little road on a beach. We have cottages and we have like one elderly couple as a neighbor, but that's it. So I don't get trick-or-treaters.
It's interesting that you mentioned that you might be going to Vegas before Wadapalooza. Vegas is at elevation.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be really cool for you to sort of, do you experience that where you are now? I don't know much about the topography of PEI, but I'm imagining you're pretty close to sea level, right?
We're like a little piece of Canada that accidentally broke off. Like we're about this big. It would, like a mountain would take up the entire island.
So there's no altitude.
Absolutely none. Yeah.
Okay. So what, can you expect anything different based on your recent diagnosis with asthma? Have you checked in with anybody on that to see what might happen?
Deb has, so I did get prescribed 2 puffers, and I know it was actually good to hear that Danielle Brandon also has asthma. I was like, oh my God, I'm not the only elite athlete with asthma. But so Deb, luckily, again, I guess because Danielle also has that connection with Cooper, so she's gone through that process so that she can have her like puffers kind of like medically
Approved.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, because that's, oh my God, that's the last thing I need, right? Is a 4-year ban.
Right.
He's like, I have asthma. Like that.
Because I have asthma.
Like,
Add it to your list, Charlie. Add it to your list.
Oh,
Every time someone gets popped for something, Charlie adds it to the list of things that he needs to start taking to get better.
To be an elite
That's
athlete.
hilarious.
So we'll get you a puffer.
Just gonna have
too.
a full handful of things.
That's so funny. No, but so Deb has reached out to HQ and I've got like a connection now. I've got to apply for a therapeutic use exemption and all that. So I haven't even started taking them yet because I don't want to start taking them until they're approved.
Yeah,
But
good point.
so I'm not entirely sure because for my asthma, it's funny, it's not. I had to do a couple different tests. And the first test was just a pulmonary function test to like see how my lungs work, like at rest. Totally normal, like above average, as I would hope. But
Right.
but then when I did a separate challenge, it's called a methacholine challenge, and it basically measures with this methacholine like constricts your lungs. So basically, long story short, they keep giving me little bits until they see a 20% drop of my lung capacity. And mine went like 5%, 3%, 12%, and then like 42%. So there was one where it just like dropped.
Tanked.
So I don't actually, it's a very like state dependent asthma, I suppose. So it's the
Is
high.
it like exercise induced?
Yes,
Considered
and it's
exercise
the high
induced.
intensity. So like when I do my long aerobic pieces, low heart rate, I don't notice it terribly then, but it's when I'm doing my like hard, like if I was doing assault bike sprints, I would really, really notice it. So I'm interested. I'm not entirely sure because it's kind of new to me. Like I don't know a ton about asthma yet because I always just thought I was bad at cardio. But
I think that might be my problem.
I was gonna say, maybe that's my deal.
You know what's funny? When I put that little thing on my friend's only story just about like I wasn't gonna broadcast it, but I was like, I just got diagnosed with asthma. I had so many people swipe up and be like, I wheeze when I run. Do I have asthma? I'm like, I'm not a
Right.
doctor.
Please. Is there a cure?
Yeah. Can I get a bumper?
Right. I actually was diagnosed with that, but I never went through any kind of diagnostic testing like you did. It was more like I explained to my doctor what was happening and she's like, oh, it sounds like it's this, try this.
Yeah.
And I did get an inhaler, but I didn't really notice that much of a difference. But again, I don't know that that's a thing, but I joke when I was a kid, I was on the swim team and I would fake drown in the middle of the warm up of the swim because I couldn't swim more than 2 laps at a time. Like there was no way those kids are doing 20 lap warm ups. What is that? Like there's no way my lung capacity could support more than like 2 lengths of a 25-meter pool. And, people used to make fun of me all the time because I was a ballerina. So that's very anaerobic, quick little spurts of stuff and not really long whatnot. And I mean, I can attest to my workout this morning, 6 calories on the Echo bike and 10 dumbbell thrusters for 5 rounds. And by like the second round, I wanted to die after the bike. So might have to get that re-upped, that prescription and see what can happen. Oh, but one time, I know this is all about me. Before a workout, I think it was an open workout, I busted out the inhaler thinking, it was one of those workouts where I'm like, I'm going to die anyway. Let's just do this. I hadn't taken the inhaler in years, probably. It was probably even expired, like wasn't going to do anything. But I did like a pre-workout and the inhaler. Oh. And I had like an anxiety attack. Like I thought I was actually going to die. And ended up like, I think throwing up or something and like not being able to do the open workout until like the next day. So
yeah, when they
be careful.
Because when they did the methacholine challenge on me, that what you would have taken is Ventrolin. So it's just like a bronchio. It just like opens your lungs up, right? And that's just like that little blue puffer, right? It's what they give everybody. So that was one of the ones I was given. It's like the emergency if your like lungs feel like they're closing over, take that. And then there's one that's like a long-term effect kind of thing. But anyway, so when they did the methacholine challenge and they closed up my lungs to get it back to baseline, obviously, so they don't send me on my way while I'm like wheezing, they gave me a ton of Ventrolin and it makes you like insanely shaky. So I'm standing there and I'm like, I can feel my bones shaking because normally take like 2 puffs. I'm pretty sure because they have to measure to get back to baseline. And I'm pretty sure I got like 12. So I got an obscene amount. And I couldn't even drive. I was sitting in my car and like my legs are shaking. I'm like, I can't press down on the brake to move my car into reverse. So I had to sit there for like 15 minutes, like shaking, like just like, I thought it was hilarious. So I'm like laughing uncontrollably, like shaking. I'm like, this is hilarious. And it was just like the bronchial like dilator. Like it just completely opened up my lungs, but it made everything super shaky. It did feel like I like overdosed on pre-wad. It was it was really funny.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll have to get you some, Charlie. We'll hook you up.
I'll take it. Ventrolin, got it.
Yeah. Okay, so Wadapalooza. Middle of January, third week in January, something like
January
that.
13th.
Okay. Yeah, I'm planning on being there. So
awesome.
that's the goal for that one. And then the open 3-4 week, about a month later.
Yeah, it's really good timing. It's like honestly, once
Nice little
kind of
tune-up.
December or once Wadapalooza rolls around, it just kind of rolls right into
Mhm.
the season, and I like that a lot. It gives me something to look forward to, which I missed in the past couple of years.
Yeah, and you really don't have to focus too much on the open, right? I mean,
Just turning straight through it.
right. And same thing
I've
with
got-
the
yeah.
quarters, I would imagine, right?
100%. I've got goals for each of them, but none of them I'm not going to taper. It's just straight through to
Just
straight through
train,
to seconds.
train
Yeah,
and do them.
exactly.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
Super
I'm excited for the season. I'm especially just like being in person again. It's me in person, competing in person is very, very different than me online. And I'm really looking forward to finally getting to showcase that. So especially at Wadapalooza, like that's kind of like I've got some plans for Wadapalooza. We're not gonna go and just hang out. Yeah,
We're gonna smash it. Yeah, and I mean, we brushed over this, we glossed over it, but this is your first in-person elite division competition too. Like you didn't pull an Emma Carey and do the elite division Granite Games in 2019 or anything like you. This is it.
Yeah.
This is your first one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, I am excited. I'm super excited.
They are not gonna know what hit them.
Yeah, I'm also excited to do that with Freya because Freya qualified. She did the qualifier. She came second, which is huge.
Nice.
So I'm really excited to get to do that with her too because we have a great relationship where it's like we're very competitive, but like in no way are we competing with each other. It's almost like our fitness or like our fitness is an extension of ourselves. It's like our fitness is competing against each other, but like she's one of my best friends and I absolutely love her. So I'm so excited to get to like do that with her. Yeah, it'll be really fun.
That's cool. We'll have to try to grab her for a talk too, see if we can meet her and get to know her.
She's another young Canadian who's flying super under the radar. Like she came 12th at Atlas, so she did well. She did the age group qualifier before, but like was just super young, like has only been doing CrossFit a couple of years, but she's just like a natural talent. Yeah, she was fun when we got to train together. All of her strengths are the complete opposites of mine. So she is a fantastic rower. She's like 5'5", 5'6", so she's a handful of inches taller than me. But she's amazing at barbell cycling, rowing, double unders, and like burpees. But then we did one workout and it was toes to bar, rowing, burpee box jump overs, double unders for like 5 rounds. And I knew she was going to be faster on the rower, probably the same on the burpees, maybe a little faster on the double unders. And it was just like whether or not I could stick out the toes to bar longer than her. And it was so fun to do it next to her because it was just great to see like, okay, like she can be this much faster than me on the rower, and then I need to go this much faster than her here. And then I think I maybe finished like, I don't know, 15 seconds ahead of her. Like it was so close the whole time. It's that I miss being by myself, and I don't even realize I miss it until I get to do it. Which is also why I'm so excited that I'm going to get to train with people right before Miami, because it is very different. I'm very good at training. I think I said that before. I've gotten really good at training by myself. I know how to push myself, but you can't compete by yourself. You can with yourself, but there is an aspect to competing with another person that you can't replicate. So I'm very excited to kind of get to compete. And I say compete, I even just mean push against another person that I don't have to fabricate in my mind. Before Wadapalooza, so I can get that kind of switch. Because I think what I was missing 2 years ago at Wadapalooza was, among other things, but just kind of showing up and just kind of doing my thing. Like there was that mindset flip that because I don't have that push with other people all the time, I kind of didn't flip that switch, and that was an immaturity thing and just a not knowing thing, and that's totally fine. But I did learn from that. Like there is a big difference, and I'm super glad I'm going to get to go train with people, kind of remember what it's like to chase someone, because that chase is a feeling you don't get alone. Right before I get to step out on that floor, I think that'll be really good for me.
You didn't pick any slouches, I can tell you that. Those 3 girls up there.
Yeah, and trust me, I'm going to be chasing them. Yeah.
You never know, you might surprise yourself. And you're like, oh, that's what, was it Danielle said that she's like, oh, or maybe it was Bethany. He's like, oh, I can hang with these guys. So
yeah,
just change that mind frame.
And I've heard them talk a lot, and I really I think we have very similar personality types. They probably have no idea who I am at this point, but
They
just
know.
even listening
Oh,
to
they
them,
know.
like we'll see. But even just listening to them talk, like they're kind of a breath of fresh air, and I appreciate that a lot. I love genuine people, and every time I hear like Justin or Danielle or Bethany talk, they're so genuine. There's no like facade, there's no pretending. It's just it is what it is, and that's what they say. And that is like something I try to keep, like I pride myself in having, and I totally love in other people. So I think it'll be a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. So when you say train alone, like you literally, like there's no one,
Well,
not even like some guys that you can kind of
God, no.
chase, or there's no one.
Actually, if that's gonna laugh, I'm gonna have to tell my friend Will that I just said, oh God, no.
Sorry.
So, yeah, during the week, I'm surrounded, like there's people there, and that's
Okay.
my schedule now is so much better than it was when I was in high school. Like I feel this year has been really great, and I'm mentally so much happier training than I was last year, just because of my like schedule and the environment. Because last year I was just in a corner ignoring everyone because there was class workouts going on, and I just had to hide away in this little corner away from the class workout so I wasn't disturbing anybody, with no music, just like suffering. And that was so mentally hard after a while. Even just feeling like you're in the way is like, it's draining, because I hate feeling like I'm like in the
Like
way
disturbing
of
somebody.
yeah, right. So even though I know I'm not, it's tough, right? So but this year with my schedule, I'm in all morning, and there's no classes between like 9:30 and 11, so I've got like a full hour and a half to do my big long cardio, and then the 11 class is normally really quiet, so I can kind of do my thing while they're doing their thing. And then I typically do the 12 class. I do a class workout almost every day. I modify it like to make it a little harder if need be and stuff, but I still do a class every day. And then there's open gym all the way till like 3:30. So then I've got like 3 more hours where I have just people around doing their own thing. Like, and that's when there is a couple guys who come to open gym and do their own stuff. I'm really good friends with one of them, Will. And occasionally I can convince him to do part of a workout of mine with me. And often he'll get like a round in and he goes, I'm only doing 2 rounds of like 5. but even just like,
because he can.
having him there is huge. So yeah, that environment is much better. I'm not completely alone, but 99% of the time I'm doing the workouts by myself. But having them around is huge for just my mental state though. I mean, like just the atmosphere. And then on the weekends when I come in basically by myself, so my very best friend Renee, she and my mom come and train with me, and they'll do my workouts and they'll scale them. But Renee's a soccer player, and she is one of the best runners, echo bikers, and burpiers like I've ever seen. Like, so she is a great push on that stuff. And then mom will modify them so she can push me in some too. She's also super fit. She came 105th in her age division. So like, she's not even just like mom fit, like she's fit.
She's no slouch. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I have them who come in with me on the weekends, and then Brett will never work out with me, but sometimes Brett comes and hangs out, and that's also really, really good just for my mental state. So I have people around me now, which is huge. But no like consistent training partners. We're in this together. I can push you on this workout kind of thing. Yeah, unless Freya wants to move here, but
yeah, we need to work on that for you, because I definitely think, and I'm glad that that Brett's recognized that as a thing that he needs to give you that exposure, because it's so important.
it's
And you don't want to just like test it out at Wadapalooza, like you don't want to waste that opportunity to do it then and have it be the first time and you go out too hot, or you strategize poorly because you're not used to having to chase people.
exactly.
So it's good that you're doing that ahead of time. I would also, and this is me just being paranoid, I'd almost be afraid to be with some of those other people just to know what the result would be. In other words, and I'm not saying it's probably going to be fine, but like, what if it's not fine? Like, what if you go there and like you're not keeping up at all? Like, what does that do to you? Like, oh crap.
I know.
Like, what have I been doing this whole time?
Yeah, there's always that little voice, especially because I've never got to actually compete with them in person. That's
Right.
like, oh my God, like, are you that good? I can't tell. But then it's also like, you came 6th, you're fine. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't,
Yeah.
like, I know, yeah. I know where I'm
I mean,
at. I know
Yeah. And I guess you have enough data to know from some of this online stuff too, that you're not like far off, if at all. So that's good. But that's the sort of the negative Nelly in me that would get nervous. It's kind of like when I don't like doing benchmarks, especially because I'm getting older. It's like I dread the day that those start to become not PRs, because I'm like, oh, well, here we go. Like we're on this downward trend.
I know what you mean, for sure.
Yeah.
And there's definitely 100%, there's a little voice that says that, but I've learned over the years to not give that any energy. It's just not productive, and it's not true. And feelings, one of my favorite lines is, feelings are not facts. And that's helped me a lot over the years. And it's true. You can feel something, but it doesn't mean it's true. And it doesn't mean that what you're feeling is valid. It just means that it's not true. It's not a fact. So I can have that worry and not let it affect me. There can be like a separation there. And that's been a huge thing for me to learn, is to have that separation. But yeah, and I also just know confidence has been something we've been working on, like even just confidence in workouts. Like, you don't need to rest right now. You can go, you're not going to die, that kind of thing. And it kind of, that confidence kind of seeps into everything, right? So it's come a long way. And for me, it's like that feeling's in the back of my head, but the overall kind of feeling I have is just like ready to go. Because I also know with the amount of work I put in, I'm going to get results from that. Like, I'm just so confident in the amount of work I do. It's like you can't have confidence in your skills because you never know how they're going to stack up, right? You can't predict any other people except yourself. But like, I am so confident in the work I'm doing right now. It is just looking at the amount and what I was doing last year compared to right now. Like, it's already like we've turned this one up to 11. If anyone's ever watched Spinal Tap.
I like it. It's kind of like you're this sort of work of art that's been in the basement, and it's been molded and painted and everything else. And now like you're ready to show it, it like in your opening gallery, or, you're like a peacock that's about to like open up, your feathers and be like, look at me.
Gotta let me fly.
Right. I'm just, I'm super excited for you. And
that's what I feel like too. And I love that article that Morning Chalk Up did when Emily Beers wrote, was so good. I love
Emily's
that.
great.
It was so good. She picked such great little like pieces of what I said to highlight. It was, she did a phenomenal job. So I love seeing that. And I love the amount of recognition that got. I was like, it's nice when people know your story, because it's a cool story. I like my story. I wouldn't want my story to be any other way. So yeah, that was awesome too.
Yeah. And there's a lot more story.
Yeah. And that was the biggest thing that I told her, is like, I haven't even tapped into what I want to do yet. Like, this is all just like the prologue still. Like,
right.
I'm so glad I've had a prologue this exciting.
Yep. This is the intro. We haven't even started chapter 1 potentially.
I'm not even 20. Like, right. Like, Carrie Pierce just retired and she was what, 33? That's 50 years away from me, right? Like, that's almost half my lifetime. So, or no, not even, that's not almost half my lifetime. That's almost my lifetime. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just so excited for the future. But I'm at a really nice place right now where I'm excited for the future, but I'm not like anxious for the future where I feel like I need to get it going. Like, I'm also like enjoying every day, which is new for me. I struggled with that a lot in the past, of just like dreading every day, but always feeling like something, like I had to be looking for something good. I'm like chasing something that was never going to come. And now it's like, I'm in a nice spot where it's just like, I like every day, and it's really awesome.
Oh, good. Well, we couldn't be happier for you. And, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. And we I'm super excited with the relationship that we've built, and that we can just sort of talk whenever and catch up. And, we're huge fans of yours. So
yeah, I appreciate it so much. I know I like things to come too. Yeah.
More big things to come. All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and
Thank you so much.
We'll be watching for you in Miami.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. I can't wait.
Thanks, Anikha.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.